welcome to Helping Horse. I'm here today with Sampson, and this video is an opportunity for you to get to know Sampson a bit better and to add some techniques on ways to work with Sampson to help him out in our lessons and to help you with working with him. So Sampson is a 15-year-old halflinger. Halflingers are a really interesting breed. They were bred in Europe to be farm working horses, cart horses, but also pack horses in the war. So as you can see by his physique, he's quite bulky and he's very strong in those front shoulders, and he's a big guy, and that was to support that type of work. The wonderful thing about halflingers is they are fantastic horses for this type of work. I'll say something about Sampson. He's actually one of our most versatile horses in our program. He is used by all of our riders, all the way up to 200 pounds down to our itty bitties. And he's trained for our adaptive saddle, which is a very unique piece of equipment. And he is the one horse that does really great with that piece of equipment. So there's a couple things that are unique to Sampson that I'd like to share, and we're going to be talking further about in this video. If you can notice, Sampson is missing his left eye. It is a recent removal, so probably within the last 2 to 3 years, which may not to you sound recent, but in a horse's life, that's very recent. Meaning it takes a long time for a horse to gain confidence with a missing eye on one side of their body. And so what we'll be talking about a little bit later on is how do you work with a horse with only one eye. Finally, I want to talk about Sampson and how he feels when horses leave the arena, because this can be another challenge for him. When any of his herd mates or even lesson mates leave the arena and he's left behind, he can get a little bit anxious. And so we're going to talk about how to handle that when that comes up in lessons. The most important thing to remember is they're lacking confidence on the blind side. So there'll be behaviors that come up. It's purely because they're insecure and they're not sure of what's happening. So we're going to talk about ways that we can help Sampson build confidence and keep him feeling safe, and therefore us safe throughout the process. The most important rule with a horse that's blind on one side is to always approach them on their seeing side. So if I were to approach Sampson in the pasture, in the grooming area, or in the arena, anytime, I'm always going to start on his right side. I'm always, as we talk about, going to start with the horsey handshake. Present my hand, give him a chance to meet me halfway, and so say hello. Now, this does not mean we can't work on their left side. We have to work on their left side. But let's talk about how we do that in a way that is skilled and helps him continue to feel safe. If I need to move over to his left side, I'm always going to start on the right. There he is checking in with me, saying, "What are we doing?" That's a check-in because I had my hand out. And I'm pausing for a moment because he's right now just smelling me. And this is a lovely moment of connection. And now he backed away, but I gave him a moment to check in with me. So there are two ways to work with a horse when I need to move from the right to the left. The first way would be to, first of all, do my horsey handshake once he accepts me in his space, touch that right side, and using my voice, I am going to keep a hand on his right side while I continue to talk, and you can see while he's itching himself, I'm going to move around. And he's swatting a fly, and I'm going to keep a hand, and look at what he's doing. He's turning to look for me because he can hear me, and he's saying, "Hello, are you there?" And I'm saying, "Yep, Sampson, I'm still here," and letting him check in on that left side. So once I'm on that left side, I'm going to continue to just reassure him that I'm here. There he is checking in again. This is all ways that he is saying, "Is that still you?" So I laid my hand on him and he just wanted to check in. So if you notice, each time I give him a chance to smell me, he gets more confident. He's checking in less. So I'll take a pause. He's still checking in with me. That is only because he can't see me on this side. The other important thing to do is with any of our equipment, whether it be grooming equipment, tacking equipment, I am always going to start on that right side, and I'm going to give him an opportunity. Now he just did a little nudge, so I'm going to politely ask him to move out of my space, okay, because a check-in became a bit of a nudge. And I'm going to take whatever I want him to check in on, the curry brush or this piece of paper, and let him smell it. Now, if I decide I want to move to his right side and curry him, I'm going to come around while he's smelling it and let him smell it over on this side. And then I can move right into currying him. So again, the key is to avoid surprising him on that left side. Okay, so this backing up is also a way of him checking in. So I'm just gonna, if you notice now, he licked and chewed, and he's starting to accept what I'm doing and feeling more confident. So when you're leading a horse on the right side, most of us learn how to lead on the left. This is going to be hard for those that have never led on the right. The only way to learn how to do this is by practicing. Come out to your lesson earlier. Get into the warm-up arena. Come to the arena for warm-up earlier. Practice, practice, practice. That's the only way this is going to feel comfortable. Now, the other thing you need to be aware of as the horse leader is it is your job to protect his left side. Therefore, a sidewalker that's so excited to come join you may come running over on this left side, all excited to meet Sampson, and immediately greet him by touching him on the left side. We know that's not going to be safe for Sampson, so educate them to come over to the right, do the horsey handshake, give them a pet. When a sidewalker is leading on the left side, discourage them from touching Sampson during the ride. But it is your job to protect that space. While you're navigating the arena, be aware that he can't see what's on his left side. He commonly comes in from the pastures with nicks and dings on his left side because he's bumping into things on that side. So give him plenty of space. Don't make sharp left turns and catch him off guard to a barrel or something else that's on the left, and just be very aware that you're his eyes. He may also look around to try to see things on that left side and be aware that that's what he's trying to do. Sampson is a horse who received training at the softest level. So a horse like Sampson understands the quieter cues. So in a way, this is where less is more. So the leading method is a phased approach. Sampson does great off of the goes and woes off of phases 1 and 2. Where he struggles is when somebody moves through the phases too quickly and too fast, not giving him a chance to make the right choice. The other thing that's hard for him is when people get ahead of him and start pulling him forward, or they're choking up on the line and holding a tight hold and not giving him a chance to make the right choice. He hates being pulled around to the left or to the right, or being pulled ahead and not being given a chance to do the right thing. So you can see he struggled with that. Now, if I ask him to come with me with the right boundaries and space and the lightest suggestion, he's a perfect gentleman.
We go into a lot of detail about your body position during leading in our general leading video, but we really want to emphasize this with Sampson, how important it is to keep your shoulder even with the space right behind his ear. A lot of the issues that come up with Sampson in classes tend to be when you get ahead of him. The other body position priority is to ensure that you are maintaining your own rectangle, like what we talked about in the Horse Leader Handbook. It's imperative that you make sure that Sampson is staying in his own rectangle. Like we talked about before, because of insecurities as well as just a need to check in, he will often come into your rectangle or your space.
So again, you're really just encouraging him out of your space. So the first one is almost like a phase one or a very gentle request, and it's actually just going to be using your finger. So you're just going to kind of point your finger towards his muzzle or towards his cheek or even sometimes towards his neck. I'm not even touching him, but it's just kind of a reminder that I'd like you to be over there. If you need to, sometimes you can actually put a little physical pressure on these areas. And that can also encourage him out of your space. That's a very gentle ask, sort of your basic level ask. Another way to get him out of your space, I use this a lot for turning, is I'm actually going to just set my hand right here and wiggle it back and forth. And that's going to encourage him to move away when we're turning. So again, he can see that with his eye. I'm just kind of touching right at his eye area. So he just did a little check-in, which is fine. I encourage him to move back out. Another option is my favorite one, and I like to call it the chicken wing. So basically, as you're walking around, you're just going to almost flap your arm out like a chicken wing. You're just creating this amount of space, which is about a foot away from you. This is a great tool to use in the turns as well. It's very low impact, but it just lets him know, I need you about this far away from me. You're coming into my space a little too much. The last one would probably be the maximum level. If he's really getting into your space, don't forget your stick. So think about creating a wall with the stick. Your stick's coming in front of the horse to slow down, behind you to speed them up. And when you put it out in front of you, it's asking him to move out of your space. So you're just wiggling it. Again, you're not going to him with the stick, you're just maintaining this boundary with the stick. So those are some great blocking options to keep him out of your space. He says, I do love to come for a visit. So try those when you're warming up and make sure that you're establishing a healthy distance between you and your horse.
Now we get an opportunity to observe some of these strategies in action. You'll notice a combination of chicken wing and also using the stick to encourage Sampson forward through the turns can sometimes help if you feel like he's dropping behind. Don't be afraid to make little adjustments in your speed as he's turning so that you're maintaining that position right behind his ear. You'll see here using the chicken wing to encourage him out of the leader's space, as well as now holding up their hand by his eye to prepare him for an upcoming turn. Another area where Sampson can struggle is turns around a barrel or tight turns to the right. He will often lean in or come in closer to you. So this is a really important area to make sure that you're keeping him out of your rectangle. Again, don't forget all these strategies you can see using the finger here, chicken wing, combination of things, the goal being that he is always staying that appropriate distance away from the leader. Of course, left-hand turns provide a different challenge as he will be turning into his blind side and he can't see what he's turning around. So really help set him up and support him, give him a chance to find his spacing around the barrel. Also keep in mind you can communicate to the rider as they're steering to make sure that they're steering in such a way that he can get around the barrel or can help give him some support in seeing where he's turning. There are times towards the end of a class where a horse can begin to anticipate the dismounting process and will begin to walk towards or get a little pushier with their leader in moving towards the dismounting area. It's imperative to work towards anticipating this and ensuring that you are cutting off that direction before it becomes a more forceful behavior. You can see that the leader very quickly used the stick as a visual barrier for Sampson to let him know, no, you're not crossing in front of me, we're not going towards the gate. The leader stayed calm, maintained the stick position, and let him know we will continue to go on straight. The intention is that hopefully next time there will be less pressure needed to encourage the behavior we're looking for. The same strategies we were using to maintain our space throughout regular leading absolutely apply to any gate diving behaviors. Make sure that you're using your stick to slow your horse down, maintaining your space with any of those blocking strategies, and encouraging him to continue to walk straight. But most importantly, once he has tried it or shown that he's thinking about it, when you come around that curve, make sure that you are prepared and letting him know that you're one step ahead. As we've talked throughout this video, you're probably noticing a pattern on how important the correct body position is for all maneuvers when leading your horse. Once again, when you're asking your horse to trot, maintaining an appropriate distance away and working through the phases is always going to bring about a nice, gentle transition. You notice here that the leader is doing a fabulous job of encouraging Sampson out of her space prior to starting the trot. She asks gently with phase 1 and 2, her body position and her voice, and stays right behind his ear as they trot down the long side. Here's another viewpoint of the leader doing a fabulous job putting together all the different strategies we've talked about today. She's asking for the trot, doing a great job maintaining her space, and preparing for the chance that Sampson may try to push towards the gate at the end of the arena. You can see her quickly addressing some of that motion that he is making and encouraging him to continue right out onto the rail. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch this video and get to know Sampson on a deeper level in understanding strategies to support him in the grooming area and in the arena. It's also wonderful to know that we can be the best partner for our horses while leading them in the classes, setting them up for success as well as our riders. We appreciate all that you do out here at Helping Horse.